Welcome to this week's episode of Totally Oblivious. I'm your host. I'm Caleb. That's co-host Alex. Pew 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 pew. We gotta stimulate the younger audience. We gotta aim towards the younger audience now. Pew pew. Bam.
Caleb, all you have
Word.
Caleb,
Pew.
just
Bam.
Caleb.
Thumbnail.
Caleb, just grab your keys and just
Jingle, jingle, jingle.
that's all you have to do. Sometimes I do that in my videos. I secretly place audio cues sometimes and just woo over my stuff.
I'm eating a croissant witch.
Oh, what the fuck?
A croissant sandwich.
Currently in an awkward stage of my life of what the fuck to do with my hair. I was like, I'm growing it out, but I don't know what to do with it yet. I think it's too floofy.
The
Trying to go with
the growing out phase.
Yeah, I don't know what to do. I think it's not heavy enough in the front, but it's like I can do like a really cool like pull the backs thing right here on the side of my hair. I don't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah, this is why I went with the scraggly look. Because trying to do anything else is just too much work.
Fair enough.
I went back to the classic Caleb design.
Yeah, it's just weird. I don't know what to do with my hair. Like I can just bend it over, but I don't like
You probably
it.
don't even remember this being my classic hairstyle.
No, I do.
You do?
Yeah, it was there. Like
that first year that you met me, I had it.
Yeah. So I guess you should talk, and then I'll give my presentation.
Okay. Let me see if I can find some news for us today.
Oh, what? Oh, hold on. I did have a little bit of news. Can we do local news? Apparently, there was a protest in town today.
There's been multiple protests in our area, actually.
Yeah.
Was today another one of the hands-off protests?
I have no idea. My brother was just complaining about it. My dad went, "We should arrest him." I'm like, That's not how that works.
That is terrible. What were they protesting?
I have no idea.
Because I know
said liberal, and I was like, okay.
But yeah, not last weekend, but Easter weekend, they had a protest, the hands-off protests. Hold on. Mm-hmm. They had a hands-off protest, basically being like, hey, we don't like Trump messing with our ability to trade with other countries. This is bad. This is bad stuff. I thought that today's protest was supposed to be an extension of that, but it might have also been about the imprisonments. I should know because I work for the news, but also
I was going to say
I've been also getting absolutely destroyed by literally every single aspect of life. And work has been just part of the many things that have just been not allowing me to take a second to exist.
Yeah, that was April for me. It's finally starting to go my way, so I'm trying to take as much time as possible.
I know how we can find it.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, the protests here are actually supported by the police. Like the police actually like when people in Moses go out to like protest stuff because they're like, one, this is how change is made when people go out and like get more people involved in saying, hey, we don't like this thing, and getting more people to kind of roll the ball into saying, hey, let's fix things. And two, because people in Moses Lake, shockingly enough, are very peaceful when it comes to protesting.
Yeah.
Like,
Apparently
just
there was
chill.
an accident, but I don't know if it was because of the protest. It might have
There,
just been like happened next to it or something. I don't know. I don't know the details.
there was an
I did.
incident last the last protest. There was an incident where it sounded like somebody who was pro Trump and somebody who was like no Trump, they kind of got into it and then they were both immediately removed from the scene.
Mm.
What, Alex, I'm going to let you take one guess as to who instigated it.
Who do you think? What you it's I could make at least on my bare minimum knowledge like a 25-minute video explaining how after Reagan the Republican Party is just a cultism. It's just charisma. You can have the most dog shit policies and still get a win.
Mm-hmm.
Cuz like this the Republican Party is not a facts-based party. It's just not. You can bring to them the statistic of this month, right? Even if you want to say, sure, it's still Biden's rules that are still in effect, but because of the tariffs, it's gone down.
Because of
the GDP, the
direct
GDP is down by like 2% or something like that. It's insane.
See, this is why it's funny because like they're arguing. They're like, you can't say that it's Trump's fault when last time you were saying it was still Trump's fault. And it's like, well, it's how the policies that were put in place are affecting. Because policies that were put in place during the previous Trump administration were kind of a long form thing that had long-term effects, while the policies being put in right now are having direct effects and immediate effects on the economy. So that's the difference there. Like,
yeah, and it's another thing too, which of course the politically uneducated won't understand that the whole immigrant thing is just to make the populace fear. It's classic politics.
It's so dumb. Nothing. It's so dumb.
Like there could be actual meaningful things to be actually doing. Like I think Kamala had some. She wasn't the greatest, Biden was okay. I think she would have just been Biden 2.0. She might have had some good things about her, but like the reality of it is it just would have been another possibly 8 years of Biden, which, I'm fine with. But it's like when you look at this, it's like this is garbage. That cabinet meeting was embarrassing.
Literally all this administration is showing currently, and pretty much it is worse than it was the first time, because now they're just kind of freeballing it for this term. But like basically they're just running a circus at this point. Like they're not trying to do anything actually meaningful for the US populace.
Can I give a crazy take? Like a really batshit insane take?
Give your take.
It's not even cool fascism.
It's not. It's the lamest version of it.
It is at least Mussolini put in front of his fucking headquarters like some cool looking propaganda. Caleb Post put in the CCCCC thing with his face behind it. Hold on, I can actually just drop it in Discord.
But like
there's nothing of that. It's garbage.
Just look at the guys who have been in power though, and like who have, for one, who have money, and for two, who are in power. They're just a bunch of goobers. Like literally the Department of Government Expenses, I don't remember what it's called. It was a stupid name. But Elon was literally just he's just a Discord mod who got power. And I think he's fallen back because he got bullied so bad.
Yeah, no, it's terrible. I'm already saying it. I can already imagine it. Just how come my dad talks about the Reagan era, in which I'll try to give Reagan some some grace. I think he was just dumb, but dumb in the sense like he wanted to do good, but he did a monumental fuck up on so many things, and of course he was Republican, so the whole like making college like not free anymore. He was that asshole. So it's like I think for the most part, other than like core values he had, he was just dumb. But like in this administration, it's just there's no political intelligence at all. There's none.
No, absolutely not.
None. So like I'm gonna say in like a few years, or like when I'm a full grown man, I will be making fun of this administration, being like, I'll be telling my kids, be smart about your choices. My grandkids even, be smart about your choices. Think about the future, et cetera, et cetera. It's not it's I feel as an American, I feel bad to be an American. Like I feel like a joke. It's just like what are we doing, dude? It's like and the thing too is it's not even like going into the whole tariffs thing. It's like it's not even smart because no one's on your side. It's a one-sided war. So it's just like, what are you doing? Like this isn't, and plus it's gonna all boil down to in a few years, like I said, in terms of like legacy, like people are gonna recognize this, at least historically, being like, this was terrible. Like this was just for the not the bourgeoisie, for the rich to get richer. That's all this era was about. Like nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could argue for certain things Bush and like the other Republicans did, other than they're more bigger fuck ups. But looking at them in specific, it's like, yeah, chat, what are we doing here? This guy has bankrupted a casino. He's 78. He's sleeping through multiple things on a daily basis. He's moving as much and is carrying his body as much. No, as bad as my grandfather. I would not let my grandfather run the country. This is terrible.
Yeah.
This is. I really do hope maybe in my lifetime we end up getting to see like a limit to life where it's like, yeah, past 60 you can't run an office. You do not have the capabilities to do this. Maybe 65. I'd say 65.
65, 60. There has to be a limit on how old you can be because
78.
Because
I'm not trusting you to drive
medically
at all.
Medically speaking, like your mind starts to deteriorate once you get to a certain age. So these politicians, a lot of them, both Biden and Trump, clearly were showing mental decay on stage. And yet, the only one that got bullied out of running was Biden. When clearly Trump was also not mentally sound.
What's the median age of a U.S. senator? It's 64, bro. I think it's actually 65 now. Someone up.
Crazy.
That's terrible. I don't want 60-year-olds running the country. I want 45-year-olds to it. 45 and 50-year-olds. I'm more comfortable with that because there's some reason there.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's terrible. Like I can't. We're gonna talk about it every week till he leaves. Which if there's protests happening, in our hometown, which is more red than blue. Yeah, there's a problem. There's a real problem.
Oh yeah.
So like I'm seeing it. It's not going to happen anytime soon, but I think before the end of 2025, there's going to be some. Remember the story I told you? Those last 3 months are the most butt fucking insane.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? Mm-hmm. That Laura was dropping. Come October, November, December of 2025, there's going to be a lot of political bullshit.
It's the season finale. That's what always happens. Season finale.
Yeah.
What's the 2025 season finale going to be? I don't know. We're getting to the 2025 season climax where like the main plot comes into play.
Yeah. And plus they're starting to do the whole impeachment thing. Like it looks like, every time it shows up, but it looks genuinely like
they should have a case, logically speaking. There's been a lot of questionable things.
Oh, I guess this is what I somewhat wanted to talk about. The judges he put in the Supreme Court are even disagreeing with him.
Yeah, because clearly, I think what's happening is he's like not the same person that he was during that first term. Like he has degraded mentally in the years that have passed. He is not mentally fit to be in this position. And clearly he also proceeded to choose people that were in themselves also not fit for those positions.
Yeah, no, it's genuinely pretty terrible. I'm not even gonna cap.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's going on. So how are you doing personally? I'm out of water right now. I'm thirsty. She's fucking up that. Every time you bite out of that sandwich, I need you to zoom in on yourself.
I like turkey.
I like pork.
No, I've just been super busy. Like, bad news, Briar died. Aura's mom went to heaven. Did you just womp?
I did. I thought it would have brightened up the mood.
No, yeah, that no, yeah,
God,
it happened on like I think it happened Tuesday morning. I think.
Wow.
Yeah, it was bad. It was very bad.
Wow, she was slowing down though.
Yeah, and she was old. Basically, what happens with dogs, for anybody who's unaware, is once dogs start to get really old, they start developing tumors, and then those tumors just kill them.
Yeah, it's not even death by old age. It's just death by
in
tumor.
a way, we probably should have been keeping up on taking them to the vet, but we haven't been kind of doing that. And now after this, I'm kind of like, all right, we got to start getting the other dogs to the vet just to make sure they're getting their checkups. So when so we can catch something like that before it happens. So if anything, to take out of this, a PSA, make sure your pets are getting their regular checkups.
Yeah.
At least once a year, you got to take your pets in. Just to make sure that everything's going okay with them.
Yeah. So I heard from Nat, is Mariah pregnant again?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Due at the exact same time as when Angie was born.
That's insane. Mom, can you fill up my White Oak bottle? Thank you. Yeah. The podcast? Yeah, well, that's crazy. Congratulations. Next time I see Mariah. Nat told me she was going to an art gallery. She was like, is Mariah pregnant again? I'm like, damn.
I don't know.
I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, I found out from Angie. I was taking a nap, and this was
found out from the baby.
This was a couple months back. And I was taking a nap in my room, and then Angie just has this picture, and just shoves it in my face, and I was like, "What the
What's
f?"
that?
And I saw it was a ultrasound, and for the longest time, Alex.
I wanted to do a little sound effect, and I accidentally left. Continue.
No, so for the longest time, Cliff and Michelle's ultrasound for their baby was on the fridge. So at first I thought that she stole that, so I took it from her. I was like, I don't know if you should have this. And then I looked at it, and it said Mariah on it. And I was like, is this Angie's own ultrasound that she's showing me? Which in itself, she probably also shouldn't have. And then I saw the date, and I was like, wait a minute. This is recent. Wait a minute. Angie, 1, should you have this? And 2, should I have this?
That's funny.
No, that's how I found out. It was weird. They're having a boy also.
Oh,
keeping to the trend of our family for some reason always having a girl first and then having only boys after.
It's a thing. First boy though. Probably
Yep.
gonna end up being spoiled rotten.
They always are, no matter what. They're great grandchildren.
Apparently. Well, with that news out of the way, congratulations to Mariah and her husband.
Mm-hmm.
Are we ready for the gimmick for today?
I'm ready. I had nothing coming into today. I wanted to have some sort of news, but I did not. What is happening? What's going on?
We are getting ready for a long bit.
I just drooled all over the place.
That is, somebody's gonna clip that and maybe masturbate to it.
What the F?
Yeah, that's called drool porn. Okay. So are you ready for the bit?
Yeah, what are we doing?
Okay. I'm not gonna tell you what this is until the very end. You'll get it soon. Okay.
Okay. Is it
Okay.
Pictionary?
You ready? It's not Pictionary. So this is the start of the. Can you see my screen?
I can see it.
Can you see the peep? Hold on. Can you see the peepee?
I can see the
that works then.
popcorn that you just drew.
I did. Okay. So the start of this is simple.
Bear versus gorilla.
Okay. Do you remember this classic debate on the internet? Like,
I do. The Joe Rogan of debates.
Of debates. Now, what is your opinion on this one? I'm gonna ask you. You're gonna play a game of questionnaire with me. Not questionnaire. Just I'm gonna ask you questions. How you feel about this? This is a bit of a power scaling episode today. Okay.
You know,
how do you feel about this?
I have given it some thought.
Okay.
And I think overall, hold on, let me put up my sports. I think overall, these are both great players in the game. They both have had they've had a great background, great career. You see the Bear constantly taking down his opponents with ease, has absolutely nothing on him in his home turf. Then there's the gorilla, absolute beast in the jungle. Doesn't even have to climb the trees, just sits on the ground. Absolute powerhouse. Nothing stands a chance to the gorilla in its home turf. However, when you pit the two together, you gotta have to hand it to the gorilla. It's just got the mindset to beat the bear. While the equal powers might be able to clash, it's no match for the gorilla's intelligence. I'm going with the gorilla.
Okay, I thought you would go for the gorilla. This makes it funny. All right, so I was in the trenches when this happened.
Uh-huh.
I was knee deep in the bear versus gorilla debate, and I have to say, hold on, we're gonna make a little is a fraud.
The gorilla's a fraud.
The gorilla is a fraud. So there is. I don't know. Hold on, let me look at the camera. Caleb post, zoom in on me. I don't know what PR team the gorilla has, but it might be on the same level as political figures in the past. It is genuinely insane, and we'll get into this, right? So, Caleb, give me your reasonings to why you think the I'm not gonna say you're wrong or not. I'm just gonna let you go through this, right? And we'll talk about this. I think I spelled fraud wrong, but my dyslexia is one thing. It doesn't matter. Why do you think the gorilla wins? Other than the intellect thing, of course, the classic video of the one edit with Phoenix Wright, and the whole Discord server starts giving the gorilla Goku amps. Mm-hmm. What do you have to say about the gorilla? Why? I'm just curious.
I think I already kind of explained that in my sports rundown. I will say, on behalf of the bear, here's why I think the bear might win, is because, intelligence doesn't matter if your opponent is just rushing you and you know?
Yeah.
Which is kind of the bear's main strategy. I think the gorilla is smaller than the bear. So if the bear were to rush in, get itself on top of the gorilla, weigh it down, the gorilla can't do anything after that because its arms. If you disable its upper body, it's game over. The legs on a gorilla, I don't think have any sort of actual power to them. Like they're all upper body. So and for the bear is also all upper body, but the difference is the bear has one heck of a bite force, whereas the gorilla doesn't have the neck length to be able to go for the bear's throat, but the bear has the neck length to be able to go for the gorilla. So that's where I can see the bear winning.
Okay. All right. So I can't write this all down on this, but there's a few. It seems the PR team got to you too, like pretty bad. So gorillas are notoriously known for not doing shit. So they only have this little guy right here. Can only really smack. To be honest. So it is known. Aside from the team of the PR people, gorillas do not bite well. Their mauling power is abysmal, even though they have large canines. Their power is abysmal in the mouth, and they're only really known for kind of doing a sumo style of fighting. So they're more grapplers and like pushers than anything. I think you are correct when it comes to the feet, but it's all mostly upper body. So I will give you that. Gorillas are powerful, but there is a sort of kind of human aspect to it where we overthink that the gorilla fights in a martial arts kind of way, but they're more like very bad amateur wrestlers in terms of like technique.
Here's where the problem with the bear is though, is the way that gorillas work in the wild and why they don't have I don't think gorillas really have predators once they get to their max size. So the way gorillas work
actually this next point you're gonna hate.
Well, gorillas they kind of rush their opponents. That's just how apes work. They kind of give a rush. Fight.
I'm not even joking.
But I mean,
you can continue.
Here's the thing, though. Bears are they're kind of easy to scare.
That too. Okay, in this scenario though, because we also have to preface this. Technically, in all animal fights, no animal actually wants to fight. They want to live. So in all these, they have to fight.
They're both actually fighting. Like I said, I think, in all honesty, it's kind of a toss up. I do think it could go either way. I will say I'll stick to my guns. What I said in my preview, I do think the bear could probably, the gorilla could probably come out on top.
So,
but I don't think it's a guarantee. I don't think it's a guarantee either way.
Okay. So, talking about, as I was in the trenches in this, I ended up learning a lot of animal facts during this early days of this matchup of the PR team's gorilla force, right? So bears, I can't believe I'm gonna say this out loud. I don't know where the PR team for the gorilla came in for everybody thinking gorillas are fucking fighting masters when that actually should go to the bear. So I'm not going to bring up studies like on screen because I have to with Photoshop. So I'm going back off of knowledge I've learned over the few years over this debate. But bears are actually historically known and are currently known to spar constantly.
They do.
I can't believe to say this, but bears are the closest thing we have to Saiyans. These guys, grizzly bears in specific, will go at each other. Caleb and they do. And and the thing too, you also remind this bear is also an apex predator. So fun fact about gorillas are not considered apex in any category. They're just kind of just big apes. They're by technically their animal classification, they are great apes.
Bigly.
Yeah. They're just big, but they're not considered an apex animal like the bear, because the bear can take down.
I don't think anything other than predators are ever considered apex.
Yes, that is a thing, and I'm going to get into our next point, right? So in Alex's conclusion 2 years ago, the bear has an actual fighting IQ, and we'll get into a point later on in this to explain why he ends up beating this. We're going to go through a power scaling chain, a very simple power scaling chain, but since this isn't like wall level or something, Caleb will be interested in this, right? So Caleb's previous point a little bit earlier, because even I didn't know this back in the day, is that nothing can defeat a full-grown silverback gorilla. That is wrong. I present to you the leopard.
Oh wow!
Leopards have been historically known since gorillas have been recorded. When the British, of course, the British went down to Africa to analyze gorillas for the first time, when gorillas were considered Africa's Bigfoot.
Yeah, I've seen Tarzan.
Okay, except for Tarzan. I knew you were going to bring that up. I should have left in the text I had. Okay, well, I guess that Tarzan's not entirely accurate, or is somewhat accurate, but
yeah, I mean it's fictional, but I mean,
yeah.
The part of the history behind it is correct.
Yeah, yes. So leopards in specific.
How did you spell leopards so wrong?
I actually didn't. I got that from Google. It must have autocorrected wrong.
Hold on. I have never seen leopards spelled like that.
Hold on. Let me go back in.
It's leopard. That's how you're supposed to spell it. It's leopard.
Leopard. Hold on.
Yes, the leopard. A gorilla has never beat a leopard in the wild.
There was probably a Frenchman who said it like that. But leopards are known to beat full-grown silverback gorillas, and of course, yes, they have been known to kill silverbacks in rare occasion. However, there's never been an instance where a gorilla has fully, at least up to my knowledge, there might have been an update here or there, but there's never been an instance where a silverback has fully killed a leopard in recorded a study of these animals.
All right, you convinced me. Bear wins.
No, it gets worse. It gets worse for the PR team for the gorillas. You're going to understand where I'm getting with this, right? Leopards are the fourth biggest big cat on the planet. Okay. So
what's the biggest? I don't remember. Is it tiger?
We're gonna get into it. It's a specific kind of tiger. So
Bengal tiger locked in. No, snow tiger locked in.
I'm gonna give it to you on that second one. Okay. So immediately Caleb already changed his opinion, which is interesting. So we'll leave it at that, right? So this animal, a leopard, is significantly smaller than a bear and a gorilla. I need to point that out. So what ends up happening after this, right, is we have this classic case. Hold on. Is that I fucking spelled leopard wrong again? Don't worry about it.
Oh my gosh.
I did this all
are known to beat leopard aces.
So lions are known, at least in terms of the savanna version of a leopard, are known to beat them. And lions are shockingly, jaguars are actually bigger than leopards. Fun fact is lions are the second biggest land cats, big cats. So Nat is also texting me. She just came out of the thing. Or not. She wears sandals. Oh, poor baby.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
No, you're not ready.
I know where you're going with this. That tigers beat lions, and tigers are beat by sun bears, and sun bears are bears. And maybe there's a case that a sun bear and a grizzly bear fought each other, and the grizzly bear won. So therefore, by process of thinking, the bear beats the gorilla.
You almost got it there. So lions are like the second biggest big cat species, and so by this chain, you would think that these three predators can beat a gorilla, which is fair to assume. Which gets us to this point. So I have to glaze because apparently the Siberian tiger does not get glazed enough.
I don't think so.
Well, it does not. The Siberian tiger is the biggest big cat in the world. They are so crazy at what they do. There are stories of Siberian tigers after being not hunted properly, right? They get hurt, they get pissed. Similar to Diablos. What's the Diablos that gets pissed off when its horn is wrongly cut off? What's it called in the game?
I don't remember.
It's Bloodhorn Diablos or something. That Diablos goes on a fucking crazy streak. That idea, that story comes from
tigers.
Basically all tigers, especially the one I'm talking about a Siberian tiger who was not properly killed off or was, it got an injury. And
I learned about that one the other day.
It tracked the hunter to his house and then killed him.
Didn't that tiger go on to just go on a killing spree too?
I think so. It did
because then after that, the tiger since it was injured could no longer hunt its normal prey. So it was like, well, the only easy thing to kill is people. So it just went on to be one of the deadliest killers in Indian history.
So that's a Bengal tiger, but the ideal still applies. Tigers Siberian in general
are cool.
Yeah, Siberian tigers and Bengal tigers are no joke. They will come back for their lick. They will kill you. They are extremely aggressive. So by this chain, right, you would say a tiger would be able to beat a gorilla, but then we get into this point. Grizzly bears are historically known, at least from the ones that come from Siberia, fight Siberian tigers pretty constantly. And it is a...
Grizzly bears?
Grizzly bears, at least Siberian grizzly bears, go almost nearly 50-50 in their fights. It is a battle of the giants. Some of the closest things we'll ever get to, historically speaking, to an ancient prehistoric fight. Oh, I'll take a Snickers. My brother's in the room. So they have been known to fight. So to make the gorilla look like a fraud in this video, anybody who thought a gorilla was able to beat a bear is so beyond wrong. It's laughable. Because bears are able to fight the single biggest big cat and go toe-to-toe with it. So it's pretty insane. This is a rough diagram. There's more facts I could do behind this, but of course we're doing the podcast and we're doing this for funnies. So it is pretty interesting. Caleb, your thoughts? I'm just curious.
No, that seems about right. I guess when we're looking at the spread here, I gotta say the gorilla's really fighting an uphill battle, as we see that the gorilla has not shown that it has any sort of fight against higher opponents as the leopard. Who have all Siberian tigers. So by default, it almost looks to me like the gorilla is not standing much of a chance against a predator like the bear, who fights big cats and has also fought other of its own species to the death. I'm saying it right here. The bear is taking it all the way.
Okay, now here's where I'm going to spin it on you. I have to bring this up on the side of my side of my screen, so I won't see you for a few seconds. I bring in Frank. I don't know how to pronounce his French ass last name.
Frank Devereaux.
Frank Devereaux was recently found in the woods 8 miles from Borgate, Michigan. The surroundings show that he was killed in a bear fight, which resulted fatally for both, as the animal's body was found near that of the dead man. The body was terribly cut up in the contest, and the ground torn for a space the space of 20 feet, showing that the struggle had been a fearful one. Frank, off of this news article, back in I think it was, hold on, let me September 20th, 1883, was able to fight a bear. Right? I think it is a grizzly bear. I think that's what it is known, and I was able to research. So I have a crazy take. Right? Okay. So we've gone through the simple chain of this, right? So if Frank could evenly fight against a grizzly bear, I would confidently say, because we don't know if he used weapons or not, I don't think there was any weapons involved with this fight with Frank. Because it doesn't say in the news article and it didn't say anything here. All right, don't look further into it. We're doing it for funnies here. So I think Frank could fight a Siberian tiger who then could fight a grizzly bear. Because he's already displayed the capabilities of that. Which leads me into my next point. This is the whole point of this video. Could Frank DeVox solo a gorilla?
Well, when we look at these two opponents, they seem to have a pretty big matchup. When we last saw Frank DeVox, he was facing off against a bear. They both tied in that matchup and both took the loss. It was a great showing by both players, but it was obviously an even matchup that just couldn't be decided by one game, ending both of their careers early. But then we see the comeback here. Frank DeVox against the gorilla. Now the gorilla's had a great career, been able to fight off most, but it doesn't seem to be stacking up when we look at it this season. It's been falling to opponent after opponent, and now we're seeing it go up against somebody who fought against a bear, one of the main opponents of the gorilla. Now the question really comes down to who strikes first. If Frank gets up in that gorilla's face, that gorilla stands no chance. But the sheer might of the gorilla could easily take out Frank with just one hit. But overall, I'm gonna have to give it to Frank here. Frank was able to go toe-to-toe. He was the underdog. He'll be the underdog once again. I'm going with Frank DeVox for the win.
Oh God, I love how you're getting really into this. So I found out about Frank years ago on TikTok. The legendary Jujutsu Kaisen brain rot edits of Sukuna being the bear and Yuji being Frank. And I looked into it and I thought, what a legendary matchup. A true testament of what men can do. There's also been, I think recently, college students being able to, I guess, survive and draw out fighting a grizzly bear in some cases. So it is pretty insane. Also, this is a crazy feat on bears' parts. Shotgun pellets actually bounce off bears. Did you know that?
I think I have heard that. Yeah.
There's video evidence. I've seen it too. Back in the day. So it is pretty interesting. I don't know who I would give it into this fight because it seems pretty fucking insane. You know how big a bear's paw is? Caleb, post up a bear paw on screen.
Bears are huge.
So the fact that Frank was able to kill a bear, whether if it was a black bear or a grizzly, the still fact that a black bear is still the size of a lion, which we know a lion is at least 2 tiers above a regular gorilla in terms of the scale we've developed here. So Frank really is looking like a pretty powerful opponent here, at least at bare minimum, a lion level opponent. So I think it's really a toss up in my opinion, but I think I'm leaning towards Frank. But which leads us to the real the main issue here. I think, you know, if we're doing average people, you know, people make the arguments, right? Where average people, it's coming down to the wire. The gorilla can certainly win. But I think if we got Frank's descendants and they were half as good or decent to Frank, I think 100 men could beat a gorilla.
Well, when we look at both teams here, we're seeing quite a matchup here. We got 100 regular men versus one gorilla. Now, the gorilla, he has a great career like we've always said before. He's the king of the jungle over the lion. He truly claims that crown. But then we have 100 men with no weapons, mind you. The sheer might of 100 men. They have fought wars. They've destroyed entire legions just with their own fists. Imagine what they could do to a gorilla. I'm giving it to the 100 men. They're going down 50-0.
I have been recently loving the 100 men gorilla versus debate that's going on, and how it at first. I'm gonna weave you a tale, right? A lot of people
they're saying that gorilla's absolutely sweeping.
And this is what this video is supposed to present, right? At the very start, I showed you this, and you were clearly mind controlled, put in a genjutsu by the gorilla PR team, because the PR team is everywhere. Mm-hmm. The gorilla has such a crazy PR team, probably that there were women. I'm not saying that in a derogatory term. That women were saying that it was delusional, that it was toxic masculinity to think that men, 100 men, could beat a gorilla. But over the course of these past few weeks, getting gorilla experts onto this boy bar ass question, the experts are saying some fucking crazy facts. A lot of the TikTok memes say that's coming down to last 98, 99 guy as they pull out Super Saiyan through their adrenaline to finish off the gorilla like it's Jiren versus Goku and Vegeta at the end of the Tournament of Power. But you know what these researchers are saying? These guys who know gorillas, who have been around gorillas their entire lives, who've been studying them for their entire lives, Caleb, do you know what they say?
They say weak. The experts say the gorilla doesn't have what it takes. The gorilla's not showing up this season. They are just not able to come up with a win. They are not looking good going into this postseason.
Some of the researchers are saying a gorilla is getting tired after it probably kills about 20 men, meaning that there is still 80 men it has to fight.
And we got to start looking at the men's previous matchups. Historically, 10 men have been able to take down mammoths, and that is, of course, with weapons, but that's only 10 men. And those things could probably withstand some crazy weaponry that we have now, and they did it with a bunch of sticks and stones. Now times that by 10, you got 100 men going up against one gorilla. That gorilla's not standing a chance. Those 100 men are sweeping that gorilla under the rug and moving on to the next round.
It is pretty insane. Now, the real question is, Caleb, now, I've been actually holding something back that I didn't want to show on screen.
His final form.
Yeah. So we've come to the conclusion, all these people chimed in. Basically, the 100 men were able to go against the public opinion odds, the PR team of the gorilla, right?
Yep.
So the real question is, hold on. The real question is, at the end of the day, do we think that 10,000 men could beat Rayquaza?
Wait a minute.
Could 10,000 men beat Rayquaza?
let's look at what we're looking at here. We got two strong opponents in the ring here. First, we got to talk about the 10,000 men. 10,000 men, that is quite a battalion. They have, like I've said before, 100 men have taken down entire legions. A 10,000 man army has taken down entire countries, entire nations. And that's with weapons, mind you. We don't know at this point in time if they're going in barehanded or with weapons. I'm assuming barehanded. That's what we've been going in with all these opponents. And then, of course, we gotta look at the reigning champ, Guardian of the Sky, Rayquaza. He's an absolute beast, shooting hyper beams at his opponents without any sort of care in the world. Just ask any Deoxys fan, they know how many times he has washed them any single time they have met in the ring. He has no remorse for his opponents. He has won a 6v1 against other legendaries. I'm going Rayquaza. Those 10,000 men don't stand a single chance. One Hyper Beam takes out the whole Legion.
And I think that's where we'll leave it off. So that was Alex's bit today. But no, I have to genuinely say, as a power scaler, when power scaling questions like that become very popular, I get really engaged, and it really shows how much my research abilities kick in. Because it's like, God, gorillas have a crazy PR department. It really is insane.
I'm telling you, it's all Joe Rogan. Because I don't know why I said gorilla. It must have been just because I've been hearing about gorillas a lot lately. Because when the debate first started, I never said gorilla. I always said bear. But Joe Rogan was always saying, "Yeah, I think the gorilla it's beating that bear every time. I don't see a way that the bear is winning that. It has the brain power." Same with the Godzilla versus King Kong thing. I was always team Godzilla because literally, how is Monkey Man beating giant atomic bomb?
Several atomic bombs. He's a lot.
He is one giant atomic bomb. He is literally multiple. He can shoot atomic bombs. How is a monkey doing anything against that?
Yeah, no, it is genuinely pretty crazy. I really wish I made a video on this, maybe on my YouTube channel. My friend did it the other day, and he got like 250,000 views. It is a very popping subject. Next time this happens, because I was busy doing JoJo stuff, but the next time this debate happens, I'm ready for it. Because clearly, I think there's going to be a lick back. I think gorillas might come back with something. But I think we need a new animal.
They're working on themselves in the postseason. They're coming off. They're coming off this loss with a bit of heartache here. The Gorillas, they tried so hard this season, but man, they just came up short. They were not who we thought they were. They are not making it to the postseason. You hate to see it. They are a strong team, but when they get put up against these tougher opponents, they just can't seem to get it together. Let's hope we see them make a comeback in next season, and maybe they'll have some sort of reckoning with as they play through their season, go through those smaller opponents again.
I need you in post to make. I know you don't have the time to, but I need you to really try and make this like a NSPN like transition every time, please.
They're just the whoosh,
whoosh. I need you to. But Caleb, sports reporter. Yes, it is genuinely insane. I hope the next like real big conversation we get into, right? I saw it brewing up there, but it wasn't as fascinating, right? Because I think we need a little bit of the human element. I think these are why these engagement posts like blow up so hard. Which I think there was a lot of factors to this one blowing up so hard. It got really under people's thing. People really, I think even you've said it. You know what? Maybe we have to bring that conversation back. We won't do it for this episode, but remember modern man versus caveman and that heated debate? I think maybe we need to bring that back.
People were saying caveman beats modern man.
But the other way around, I was a modern man's opinion on that.
I was
bringing Francis.
I think I always said. Did I always say caveman? I thought I said modern.
You were adamant in the. Oh my god, what's that part of the hospital? The recovery rooms in the surgery. Mm-hmm. We had a heated debate where I was like, a caveman would not be getting the necessary proteins like a proper human would, or at least a proper human fighter would. But eventually, that was a little bit skewed in the human's favor. I'll be fair with you on that one. Mm-hmm. Because, I guess we're doing average versus average. Mm-hmm. I would go caveman. But if we're doing apex versus apex, like if you look at as much as John Jones beats women, you have to admit, Caleb, he's a dangerous fighter. He's dangerous. He is dangerous.
And so if you since I've had that, I'm sorry, Alex. I've realized my mistake in judgment since then. Clearly, evolution has been very kind to the modern man. We have all the equipment needed to fight each other. What would make it any worse against the man who doesn't have the brain power or the stature to be able to go up against somebody who literally fights for fun? I'm gonna have to side with you on this. Modern man takes the victory over caveman.
I do kind of want to talk about the whole fact that a lot of people underrate humans, even though we're humans. It's really, really weird.
We have that Zenkai boost. I think that gives us a lot.
We really do. It's really fascinating how most of these human arguments immediately have to take out weapons, because it's like you're subconsciously knowing that we're so overpowered that we can't.
Wait a minute. How much flip-flopping has been done on this podcast, on this channel, that when I brought the subject of us fighting all those animals back in the day, you said it wasn't possible and didn't want to even try to come up with a scenario to beat the animals.
Well, okay, I was playing contrarian. I was being funny, but for the most part, this is why, like, conversations I've had with Jarrett, where it's like, would a full-grown man be able to beat a wolf? I always say yes. You know why? Because this is the part a lot of people forget. A Great Dane is probably about roughly the size of a gray wolf. It's about the size, right? And you have to remember, right, Caleb? Can you look at your hand real quick? Can you put your hand up on screen for me? No, okay, like, right? What's that fifth digit on your palm there? What is that? Can you wiggle that for me? You know what that is right there? That is called an opposable digit. It is very flexible. It allows you to grab things. Now, if you think about it, right? Oh my God, you're making the camera spaz. Are you good? Your sugar's low? You good, Peter? All I wanted to do was this. You could just done to this. But the thing with wolves is the moment you break their jaw, which, fun fact, they're not that hard to break, a wolf is useless. Mm-hmm. Or you break one of their forelimbs and they become useless because wolf bones are less dense than human bones, fun fact. So it's always weird hearing these stories that men are just so inferior. Mm-hmm. But what I saw the other day was insane, right? Because I saw a lot of TikTok creators also flopping, right? Because when somebody explained this, I've said this on the podcast a few times, right? Where, especially in those fights where humans are the single most broken species. Everybody underrates humans, right? Because we think we're fleshy, we're squishy, which is true. It adds to our fear factor, but that fear factor leads to a whole bunch of crazy shit that we end up doing. But on top of that, we have the most insane stamina regeneration out of any species on this entire planet. It makes us stupid overpowered. Adrenaline plus infinite stamina regeneration is overpowered. And on top of a really, really, like, even when it comes to the most dumbest humans, the lowest IQs, that IQ is still leagues above most animals. So when you fight something like a wolf, it's like, sure, it has fangs, it's big, but you got thumbs, you got a good mind, and you got way more stamina than they do. Like, sure, you might only last 30 seconds, but then you just have to play defense for another 30 seconds, and boom. So
here's where the real debate comes in. All right. We have overlooked this season so many great matchups between opponents. And now let's see this main event for this Sunday night. We have the absolute standoff. Dinner was not served at the appropriate time. We now see man versus woman. Alex, give us a rundown of what we know about these two.
There's no fucking way I'm gonna go into a fucking what's the legal term? Battered assault? Family dispute?
Well, why can't I remember what it's called?
I can't remember either. You want me to power scale?
Domestic violence?
Domestic violence is crazy. It's going to the dude. For the most part. If we're going power scale to power scale, no character involved, it's probably the dude.
We gotta look at but you're neglecting the deep dive on the woman's side here. The woman, they might not have the upper body strength, but they have the lower body strength to do what they need to get done. Women, they have themselves one heck of a weapon attached to them at all times. They manicure those things to be fighting machines. The woman has been creating itself to be a top dog, but nobody ever takes them seriously. They have everything they need. When you see a woman versus woman tussle, it's a real tussle. They tussle hard when they want to. On the men's side, the men seem to not be taking up what they claim to be. When a man versus man fight happens, do you know what we see? We see missed punches. We see name calling that doesn't lead to anything. They cower out. But when a woman is mad at another woman, they go ham. There's no missed punches. There's pulling hair. There's scratching and clawing. They get in the dirt. They get dirty. I'm giving it to the women.
So we're not using any kitchen utensils at all. It's just straight hands.
Hand to hand, the basis of all combat. Only a fool trusts his life in a weapon.
True. You know what? Yeah, sure. You know what? I'm going to give it to the woman.
Yeah. They truly are the underdogs. Like, the only reason why I think that women aren't more dominant in the space. The only reason I don't see women dominant in the space is because throughout the years they've been told they can't. When in reality, you look at all the other opponents, all the other females out there, they're at the top of their chain in their society. So why is it when it comes to a human woman, they don't stand on the same echelon?
Caleb, wait a minute. You're missing the greatest fight here. There's two main events.
Okay.
100 women versus accountability. I'm gonna get my ass beat at the end of this.
No.
I saw that, and some of those comments where the women would be like, "This is just toxic masculinity. Why do these men think they can beat a gorilla?" And the TikTok comment section were like, "100 women versus accountability."
Versus accountability. Now accountability's a tough opponent. Not even men can get that. Not even many of the top ranked always lose out to accountability. Sorry, women, but accountability takes the win here. They're just too tough of an opponent. They can't be beat.
That shit's fucking nuts, man. That is, I can't believe this episode's gonna end off with that one.
I can't believe it's not butter.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We really ended the episode on a domestic violence matchup.
You did. You did. I was done.
Women versus accountability.
Oh my god. I need ESPN outros and intros during all. Da-da-da, da-da-da.
Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun.
Also, whoever
my
made
gosh.
that time might be the greatest guy ever, bro. That guy gets a hold on.
That's iconic.
That guy gets a out of me.
Go get a Taco Bell.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Anyway, I think that's it for this episode.
Yeah.
Wild ride.
Wild ride. Didn't think we'd end up getting 2 main events.
You dismantled that gorilla team.
It's not very good. The gorillas are strong. They can kill a regular man in a 1v1 for the most part. But when you actually stack up a gorilla versus other animals, that PR team is actually the true main villain of that arc, bro. It's actually insane how many people are just giving like the gorilla like the Renegon ultra instinct. There's a weird vibration in my house. Ultra instinct, Ichigo's fucking a Bankai, the Infinity Gauntlet, plus the Ultra Matrix, on top of the World Over Heaven, on top of Wonder View, in the hyperbolic time chamber for 100 years, ass looking gorilla. It is insane. It is insane. And he also knows Kung Fu.
You know, they really do propagandize that gorilla a lot.
Yeah.
I'm saying we gotta find a new. I'm agreeing with you. We gotta find a new animal to glaze. I think cats deserve that glaze. Now, cats, they're a tough opponent. They might be small, but they're mighty with one of the highest kill percentages in all of nature. They are a force to be reckoned with. Claimed every single continent on this planet except for Antarctica. But they truly have what it takes to be the top animal species on this planet.
You're telling me that this baby kitten has a higher kill percentage than I do?
Yeah, it can.
Well, shit. It can. Well, there you go. I lose. GG's.
All right. Well, that's it. I guess. Anything else?
I think we should really get into dinosaurs next. I think the next major like versus should be like, could 10 men with spears kill a Tyrannosaurus Rex? That should be the next one.
That one's hard because everything would just be kind of theoretical at that point.
But people like to give fucking the Bankai to fucking gorillas.
It would be interesting. I do think that would be an interesting one, especially given the knowledge we do know about the T-Rex. I think we probably do have enough to have that matchup be theorized.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. Well, that's all I got in the tank.
Well, that'll be it tonight for TOPN. Be sure to tune in next week for whatever the heck we decide to do. That's Alex Pruneda. I'm Caleb Perez. We'll see you next time. Peace out.
Deuces. Da-da-da, da-da-da.